This is Ari Fleischer and Fox News Sunday anchor Shannon Bream anchor Shannon Bream react to New York judge ruling from Trump. Okay.
We do have this decision. We're waiting for the content of it. It's 92 pages long.
That's a lot.
It's no surprise that Judge Arthur Engoron has found the former President Donald Trump liable in this case.
Oh, so you have read the case.
This is a civil case. So this is about money, not about criminality, just to rewind.
It's about civil criminality. It's about him ripping off the people of New York and everybody else and banks and other folks and basically stealing money from anybody who had stock in these banks, except for, of course, Deutsche Bank, who, didn't care. All they needed was to be able to check certain boxes so they could shuffle some Russian money his way. But whatever.
Find a little bit here because there are a lot of different cases to keep track on. But this case,
track on, sure. Track of. We can use of if you want, but you can say track on.
Letitia James said when she was running for Attorney General that she was going to get Trump, and we're going to.
Promises made, promises kept, I guess.
Play some of what she said in a moment here. But the decision is in. It's 92 pages long. James asked for 370.
Is it a giant flip book of just a hand going? It's just if you hold it backwards, you go like that. It's just Judge Engoron going.
$1 million in damages. She also wants him to be prevented from doing business in New York State. So as we wait to download all of this and get a look at the number, and as soon as we get it, we'll tell you exactly what it is. Obviously, this is something that the former president is watching extremely closely.
Now he is.
He has layers of judicial dates, appointments, decisions coming down, all in the middle of the South Carolina primary, which is coming.
Yeah, but I'll also just so you know, just if he didn't want that to happen, he could have not crimed a bunch for a long time leading up to it. So
up on February the 24th and Super Tuesday. So all of this interwoven for former President Trump. I want to bring in
teensy little hands. That's my head and my hands. I mean, that's obviously perspective tricks that you can do, but like, is that not anybody? It seems that little. Right.
Ari Fleischer, former White House press secretary and Fox News contributor, and Shannon Bream, Fox News Sunday anchor and our chief legal correspondent. Shannon, let me start with you. So no surprise, obviously, that he was found liable because the judge found him liable before this case began, correct?
He wasn't found liable. He'd already been found liable. This is about the damages. No, not correct. You are absolutely misreading this. This was about, he was always liable. It wasn't just found liable. He had previously been found liable. This whole thing was about how much he would owe, not whether or not he would fucking hell.
Correct. And we are now
No, not correct.
looking at this. Of course, I jetted to the bottom to see what we can find in the conclusion. And there are several big numbers in there. The judge talks about in this finding Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, Alan Weisselberg, and others involved in this, as you said, had already decided that they had been fraudulent in some way. One of the first things he orders is that several of them together, including Donald Trump and his trust and Trump organization, will be have to pay $168 million and change. The next paragraph goes on to say that there's another ruling for $126 million and change. Another one for $60 million. Now, we'll have to look and see if any of those are overlapping or if we add these up. But these are.
I think you add them up. I'm going to go with add them up.
Some of the numbers coming out. Goes on to say that Eric Trump has to pay $4 million in one.
Ouch. Yeah, that's a lot of concrete.
Case. Donald Trump Jr., $4 million in one of these cases, and Alan Weisselberg, $1 million. So there's a lot there. We're going to parse through these numbers, but they are big. Incredible. We knew there was a big ask. It looks like they may be in the neighborhood of close to $300 million or more.
Yeah, Shannon, we are seeing this. I believe this is a Reuters report. We're all trying to sort of balance up these numbers.
Why have our own? We have our own legal expert who just got the same paperwork that Reuters has, but she's not good at math. So let's just go ask Reuters.
Here, but according,
like, why do you have? What's Ari Fleischer doing there? Ari, get out a fucking calculator, asshat. Help her. Help the two blondes in the blue coats figure this shit out.
To some of the reporting out there, the number is $354.9 million. And as you say, the damages are spread across a number of the Trump family members who are deeply involved in the business. Don Jr., Eric Trump, as you say, $4 million. Now, perhaps equally importantly, according to the early reporting that we're seeing here, the judge has banned Donald Trump and others from serving as an officer or director of any New York corporation or other legal entity in New York for 3 years, is the period here on this. Now, that wouldn't have a whole lot of impact on President Trump because he is running for president and hopes to be president during that time.
Yeah, it will.
But Eric Trump and Don Jr. and Eric, in a large way, are very instrumental in the business here, and it would.
Yeah, ruining it. Here's the interesting part. If they can't run it either, then that means that Trump and these assholes have to hire somebody to run their company for them. And that person either has to be in on the take and willing to, keep this bullshit Titanic company afloat by engaging in the graft and possibly going to jail themselves later, like Alan Weisselberg, or somebody who will come in there and go, Jesus fucking Christ, these guys are up to their ass in criminality. And either I got to clean all this up, goddammit, or I'm out.
Prevent them from serving as an officer or director of any New York corporation or other legal entity in New York for 2 years. So $355 million here in the judgment from Arthur Engoron against the former President Donald Trump.
And Eric and Don Jr.
Ari, what's your reaction?
And Alan Weisel.
To all this?
Martha, I just have such a hard time seeing any of the court cases, including this one, as anything other than a continuation of the resistance that began when Donald Trump was elected president, and instantly protesters took to the streets of Fifth Avenue against Donald Trump.
The streets of Fifth Avenue? You mean the city he comes from, the city that he stole from, in theory? So they've known about it. They tried to warn us, is what you're saying?
To me, when you look at all these cases, the one thing they keep having in common is they're being brought against the former president in the bluest of blue counties across the United States of America.
You mean where he used to actually live and run his businesses from? I guess the biggest question, Ari, is how come Donald Trump didn't move his whole organization to Texas a long fucking time ago? If he's Mr. Super MAGA, if he loves the shit out of some freedom and some guns, baby, why didn't the sons go, Dad, fuck New York and this glitzy bullshit Fashion Week fake lifestyle we live with our fucking gold-painted furniture and our apartments that other rich people have apartments twice the size of ours. Our apartments is the third the size of Oprah's, so we have to fucking lie. So let's fuck off. Let's just go and we'll buy a giant ranch and live out in the middle of some Texas field. We'll build a giant, rich, glitzy fucking place outside of Dallas or Houston, one of these big oil, and we'll get in with those people and fucking Republicans and all this shit. But how come they never did that? They just stayed in New York, sucking up to the people they allegedly fucking hate until he needed to run for office. Oh, because he's full of shit. I see. Thank you, Ari. It helped me work. You really helped me work my way through that.
Because if they were brought in a purple county, let alone a red county, they probably would have no chance of success.
Hey, fuckwad. If this asshole had his businesses in a purple county or red county, they'd have kicked his ass to the curb a long fucking time ago, because they would have gone, who the fuck is this asshole palling around with Jeffrey Epstein all the fucking time? Why is that asshole's plane always at our goddamn airport? So are you saying red counties really would have loved the Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein period?
Whether it was a jury or a judge rendering a verdict. And so I just think this is a continuation of the nastiness that law has turned into to serve
Hey, it's New York, man. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. And he can't make it there, so he can't make it anywhere.
the political ends. As Letitia James, as you pointed out, the Attorney General of New York, campaigned on getting Donald Trump. And I remember when she said that,
Yeah, but why was she able to campaign on getting him? Why would she have jurisdiction over anything about him? Oh, he set up shop in New York because that's where his dad's business was, and he's a second-generation rich kid, and he went about cheating his way to the middle of the billionaire class in New York while hanging around with sketchy fuckers and getting money from the gnarliest people on the fucking planet.
New Yorker. I remember when she was a candidate and she vowed to do that. And it struck me as an absolute miscarriage of justice then when she made the promise. And now that she's delivered on it, it's an even bigger miscarriage.
It's a miscarriage. It's so miscarriage. It's such a miscarriage of justice that I feel like we should lock Lady Justice up for attempting passive abortion.
This also, the judge says that the Trump organization must install an independent director of compliance.
Ooh. And there it is. That literally, fine, he'll feel like he can talk it down at some point or whatever. His son's not being able to run the place, probably a better thing if he can find anybody that'll run it that won't come in there and go, what the fuck is this? The irony is that they probably would make a shit ton more money and the company would actually be healthier if he lets somebody else fucking run it. The irony. But the compliance officer that's going to be like standing around fucking bespeckled, with a clipboard going, excuse me? No.
And says its independent monitor shall continue in her role, it says, for at least 3 years. Shannon, of all the cases.
And it's a she. Whew. How's that feel to have a she grabbing you by the fupa there, dummy?
That have come against the former president. This one, I would say, and the hush money Stormy Daniels case, sort of was problematic in terms of the interpretation of a lot of people who study the law, as you do. Now, in this case, none of the banks came forward. None of these real estate investment companies came forward and said that the Trump organization failed to repay them. They claimed that the Mar-a-Lago estate, for example, was, I believe, worth $18 million, which is preposterous for anybody who's looked for, a cottage in Palm Beach. You couldn't get one of those.
Yeah, but you can't convert it. Yeah, the only way you get the tax break on it is because you have to use it as not as a home. Nobody can live there. That's the weird part about him living there. Remember, this is not his house. He can't live there. He signed a contract to keep it a club. Once you convert it back to a house, the taxes on it go through the fucking roof. And if you sell it on that, you're going to pay a shit ton of back taxes on it. That's why you can't move it.
In that neighborhood. So, it's really shocking how political this appears to be.
Yeah, it's the appearance. That's the thing. Not the legal wording of the actual 98-page ruling. That, just how it appears. Like Ari said, it's hard not to look at it from TV clips that you've seen a long time ago and not assume. In
going after him, let's play those Letitia James comments when she...
Right, same shit. Okay. Let's not. Boring. There's a lot of copium going on